The main cells of the nervous system are the neurons. To understand the nervous system, you must understand the structure of the neuron first. Before explaining the structure of the neuron, you have to know that there are three types of neuron based on structure: multipolar, bipolar, and unipolar. The difference between these neurons are in the number of extensions from the cell body. In multipolar we have many extensions, in bipolar we only have two, and in unipolar we have one that splits into two. 99% of our body's neurons are multipolar, so we'll take a multipolar neuron as an example to explain the structure of the neuron. The structure of the neuron has three main parts: the cell body, or called the soma, the dendrites, and the axon. Starting with the neuron's core, the cell body, or called the soma contains the nucleus and the other organelles needed to maintain the overall health of the neuron. Another important function of the soma is to receive signals from the dendrites, integrate them, and pass them on to the axon. Extending from the soma are dendrites. Dendrites are short and highly branched, but they are also specialized to receive signals. But how? Let's take a closer look at a dendrite. A dendrite is covered by many small bulges known as the dendritic spines. Each spine forms a connection with the axon of another neuron. Each spine is covered by receptors. These receptors bind to neurotransmitters. What are neurotransmitters? They are chemical messengers used by the nervous system for communication. More on neurotransmitters at the end of the video. The third part of the neuron is the axon. The axon is a single long process extending from the soma. It has three parts: the axon hillock, the axon proper, and the axon terminal. The axon hillock is a specialized region where signals arriving from the dendrites and the soma are integrated. If the combined signal is strong enough, an action potential will be initiated. What's an action potential? Is a change of electrical potential within the axon from negative to positive because of the movement of positive ions from outside the axon to inside of the axon. If an action potential is initiated, an electrical signal will move down the axon toward the axon terminal. The axon proper's function is to carry the electrical signal from the soma to the axon terminal. In order to do this function efficiently, most axons are covered by myelin sheaths, which are fatty insulating layers wrapped around the axon. They are produced by special glial cells. What are glial cells? Glial cells are the second type of cells found within the nervous system. Their function isn't to transmit signals, but to help and nourish the neurons. The functions of the myelin sheath are insulation. It prevents electrical signals from leaking through the axon. Also, it increases the speed of the signal, and myelinated neurons are more efficient because they use less energy. As we said, the myelin sheath allows signals to travel faster, but how? This is because of gaps left between the myelin sheath called the nodes of Ranvier. In these nodes are located many ion channels. As we said, an action potential is the change of electrical potential from negative to positive within the axon. When a signal reaches the nodes, many positive ions move through the channels into the axon, recharging and reboosting the signal as it moves toward the axon terminal. Each axon branches into dozens to thousands of axon terminals. Of course, this picture is simplified. We only have 3 axon terminals. The axon terminal contains synaptic vesicles which store neurotransmitters. The release of neurotransmitters requires a lot of energy. That's why mitochondria are found within the axon terminal. They produce energy in the form of ATP. A neuron may communicate with another neuron, or a muscle cell, or a gland cell, but the structure of communication is the same, so we will use a neuron communicating with another neuron. The junction where a neuron communicates with another neuron is called a synapse. When an action potential reaches the axon terminal, neurotransmitters are released from the synaptic vesicles into the synaptic cleft, the space found between the two communicating cells. The neurotransmitters will bind to the receptors. If it's a neuron, a new signal will be initiated. If it's a muscle, it will contract. And if it's a gland cell, it will release hormones. And that's everything about the structure of the neuron. Thanks for watching.